Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. So in this video, I wanted to just quickly just provide a quick insight. Okay, today, after attending the fourth day of Myron Golden's 5-day challenge for his Make More Offer challenge, 5-day challenge event that he hosted this month, actually this week, I wanted to kind of just provide a quick feedback and something I have learned, which I found to be something quite important, I think, for me regarding the ice plunge. And I think specifically, this would be what I now consider to be the most important benefit of doing the ice plunge as a daily self-care routine. Okay, so for those of you that don't know what ice plunge is, it's basically the self-care routine that many of the high-performance entrepreneurs and speakers, coaches, influencers that they have, promoted very prominently on YouTube and presentations about basically is having this big tub, prepare this, I guess, this bathtub, but then you fill it with basically super cold water, like near zero, near freezing water, or a lot of people they literally just put ice water in the bucket. A lot of celebrities do that, like Mark Wahlberg do that, Tony Robbins do that. A lot of the big names, they all do that in the morning. Many of the health benefits, including increased metabolism, anti-inflammation for your joints and your muscles. If you do workout, that's really helpful. Also, there's a number of, just health benefits, having that cold shock to release a lot of dopamine and endorphins and such are really good for the body, put some money in a more calm state throughout the day and such is really great. But for me personally, these are great benefits, no doubt, but they have not been something that I think has been a strong enough benefit for me to motivate me to say, okay, that's something I need to do. I got to start learning that habit as well. Personally, I just don't like cold water. I just don't like being cold, especially in the morning after waking up. So, and I'm sure nobody wants to do that. I'm sure most of you who's watching this video, unless you actually really like, being in cold water, most of us probably don't enjoy being in cold water, especially early in the morning. Up until now, I don't think I've had strong enough reason for me to say, yeah, okay, I think I got to start taking on this habit. But this week, after attending Myron Golden's 5-day challenge and then hearing his take on the reason why he's doing his daily cold plunge or ice plunge in the morning. So he actually does 39-degree water. So I guess he has a ice plunge tub that you can set the temperature electronically. So it's accurate. He just goes in and he literally does 8 to 15 minutes in 39 degrees. That's near, freezing water, which is kind of crazy in my opinion. Okay. But he mentioned this reason, which I now understand. Once he mentioned that, it just really clicked for me. And I believe I will want to do that for that specific reason as well. So he talks about when you do the cold plunge, it helps you turn off your freak out mechanism. Okay, so what's a freak out mechanism? So it's basically, according to him, it's your fight and flight impulses, your mechanism. Basically, like, your brain goes into like fight and flight when there's a stress situation and you get stressful during the day, and you can go into that freak out mode. All of us have that kind of that limit. When we hit that limit, we kind of go into that, a little bit of that panic state or that kind of stress out state, especially for entrepreneurs, because we're just always putting out fires all the time. That's kind of like typical Tuesday, for entrepreneurs. If you're on the journey like myself, you're a fellow entrepreneur, you know what I mean. But I guess this is not just limited to entrepreneurs, anybody who's in a high stress, high performance career or life path, life journey will probably have that kind of experience as well. But as I am an entrepreneur myself, so a lot of my content, I kind of just recorded for my audience. Many of them are entrepreneurs. So a lot of my perspectives are from the entrepreneur's perspective of what kind of tools should I accumulate and should I learn in order to help me thrive even better on my entrepreneur journey. And when he talks about that, I'm like, whoa, really? Now that's something I didn't know. I didn't know that can do that and then I started Googling and I've not come across yet anybody else that put the benefit, a specific benefit of the cold plunge or the ice plunge habit, okay, as the main benefit is to turn off your freak out mechanism. And I think that is just so great. Like for me, that just clicked because in a typical week, there's probably, I can count at least a handful if not more, occurrences where at least maybe at once during the day, my stress level can get to a point where I might be borderlining on a freak out level. When I'm freaking out, I'm not talking about like freaking like not like that, but okay, maybe sometimes it could be like that. It feels like that in my brain. It feels like that. Maybe I'm physically not acting now. But let's say if multiple stuff kind of like just popped up and I had to like put out multiple fires and they're unexpected and it's putting my stuff, putting me like stuff I'm supposed to have, on my plate, I'm supposed to get it done is important, but I have to just kind of like push it all aside, take care of this emergency situation or more than one if that ever happens, then it could push me to that level where I'm borderlining like freaking out, right? I would love if I can turn that off because honestly, like none of us need that freak out. I would rather just really admire people with a quality where when in a high stress situation, high stakes situation where they literally can just focus, right? They can just literally just go into like a calm, or I'm not sure they're calm, but they're just in a super focused state. It's almost like a race driver and just like Formula One or Daytona race driver and just able to like super super high stake, like life and death, and they're like super calm, super focused, and literally just zone everything out and then get it done. Like I'm so admire of it. I think a lot of Olympic athletes have that. So the closest thing I have seen, I've heard was from Tony Robbins when I attended his UPW, and he talked about the ice plunge or the cold plunge that he does every morning, at home when he wakes up. That's what he does. He jumps into that. He jumps in, and then the way he put it is that's his methodology to essentially take control of his body, right? Mind over body. Because the body says, I don't want to be in this cold water right now in the morning. And then the mind says, no, you have to, right? So that's kind of like his way of essentially gaining maximum control of his emotions in his body, right? So that's like kind of the closest thing I've heard him say, like close to what I heard Myron say today, which was turn off the freak out mechanism, to turn on the fight and flight. But when he said that, he says, okay, so once you do that, so this is something he also mentioned. He goes, once you jump in, the pain that we experience is literally like pulling tooth. It's like toothache. Okay, actually not pulling tooth. I think pulling tooth and toothache is two different things. So it's like toothache, except if you cold plunge like to your neck level, then it's basically all your joints, your shoulders, like over the body. It just feels like burning, and it feels like extraordinary amount of pain, right? And your whole body basically is like just screaming, get out of the tub right now, like get me out of here. And what he said is this. He said, what's really amazing, what's very surprising is if we can hold that, be able to just stay put and not giving to that pain, after about 2.5 minutes at 39 degrees, the pain disappears and literally it just feels like you're in water. This year I've been reading David Goggins' book, which is his verse book. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it Can't Hurt Me. And he also talked about this. He says, basically, he says something. He says most people they can't. He was describing like Hell Week for the Navy SEALs training. That week of the Hell Week where they're forced to not sleep for like 7 days straight, and they just do like training exercises on the San Diego beach. Only like 20 to 25% of the people of the applicants survive. Everybody else quit, right? Most people they quit because the pain in their mind is like they don't know when it will end. It feels like eternal. Like after the first day or second day, they feel like, oh my God, there's still another 5 to 6 days more to go. Like, oh my, I can't take this anymore. The pain feels like forever. And David Goggins was saying like what he realizes is that pain is always temporary. If we keep remembering that pain is temporary and I can just hang on for just a little bit longer, it will go away. So in the case of the cold plunge, it's 2.5 minutes. If I can stay for just 2.5 minutes, it's still a crazy amount of time. 2.5 minutes under ice water is like crazy long time, but it will be amazing if after you stay 2.5 minutes, you no longer feel the cold. It becomes almost like the runner's high, like when someone's running a marathon, like you get into a flow where you don't actually feel the pain and the exhaustion anymore. I'm not sure, but that's how it is to me. And I think that's amazing. And that will be, I think, the reason I will want to do the cold plunge, because I will really love to be able to turn off the freak out mechanism. as an entrepreneur, because there's just way too many things that happens on our journey. And this is not like a limited game where, oh, okay, I'm only doing this for a year, 2 years, 3 years entrepreneur. No, I'm doing this for my life. Entrepreneurship is like a lifestyle journey, right? It's not like a job. It's literally like I'm in it for my life until I sold my business or until I close the business or whatever, right? Or give it away or sold it, whatever, retire. But it's like a lifestyle. And solving problems is literally like the thing that like I would say as an entrepreneur, it's like choosing to purposely go into harm's way, except instead of like going to harm's way on like a military battlefield, we go into harm's way in terms of stress and anxiety and solving problems and facing challenges and facing setback and facing surprises, like life throwing challenges at a much faster level than we're having a, let's say, a 9 to 5 job. I think the challenge comes to us much, much faster as an entrepreneur. It's almost like if you're playing Tetris, okay, it's like you're playing on regular speed. If you have a 9 to 5 job, if you're an entrepreneur, then you like increase that speed by 10 times. All the blocks comes down like 10 times faster, and you have to like move 10 times faster to fit them in, or game over much faster, right? That's kind of like how I perceive it as what an entrepreneur journey is like. And imagine if you're playing Tetris and all the blocks are coming down 10 times fast, right? That could really cause a lot of anxiety if you don't want to lose the game. And you're like, oh my God, like, oh my God, that break thing, that didn't fit it correctly. And then you might not, but I might just get so caught up with like upset of one block didn't get perfectly fit, and I'll cause all the other one to mess up and then I die, right? But what I would really love is just to be able to say, okay, if the stake gets higher, if it goes faster, I can actually go into an even higher level of focus, and I completely turn off all my anxiety, all my freak out emotions. I say, okay, it'll be fine. This is all temporary. I can do this. Let's just focus on getting through the best way possible. It also reminds me of Dune 2. I don't know if you watched it. Recently, we just watched it. I watched it like 3 times and 2 times in theater, and it's amazing. And then remember the main character, Paul Atreides, right? Once he drank the water of life, right? That came from the sandworms, right? And then he gained all the past memories, and as well as he's able to foresee the future. Like he becomes being able to foretell the future, right? It's almost like Doctor Strange in Marvel universe, where he can see like 4 million outcomes of the Infinity War, how it ends. And then he's like, okay, there's only one outcome that we win, and it has to be where Iron Man dies, right? And then he's able to like one pointedly fulfill that outcome, which is to ensure that out of 4 million possible outcome for the war in Marvel universe, in Infinity Wars, in Endgame, the one that they win prevails, right? And in Dune 2, Paul Atreides, like, after he drank the water of life, okay, and he was talking to his mom, right? And he was like, okay, now I see all the futures, like his visions are clear, right? And then he can see all the future outcomes. And in so many future outcomes, our enemies prevail, right? But his hand was like this. He was like, but I do see a narrow way through, right? That they can achieve victory. And that's why he goes and he takes control and then try to steer the fate of the Fremen, right? On Arrakis, like on the Doom planet. And basically, I guess from the book, almost like the destiny of the humanity in that universe, to the point where it leads humanity to a good place down the road. I just feel like in order to be able to do that, the ability to turn off that freak out mechanism is such a superpower. It's like a must-have tool in our tool belt as an entrepreneur. So just because of that, I'm going to start practicing getting into this ice plunge or the cold plunge habit starting now. In fact, I'm starting with cold showers in the morning, and I'm going to start getting into cold plunges once I start getting more comfortable with cold showers. But I definitely want to get that done. Okay. And another side benefit is apparently, so I'm doing the research. So once you've done the cold plunge, right, they call it's like a neural reset, whereas you subject the body to like extreme amount of stress, right? And the brain releases extraordinary amount of dopamine, and I believe also endorphin as well. and also adrenaline. Those actually last for a significant length of the rest of the day. And also it gives access to the sympathetic nervous system, gives us this access to sympathetic nervous system where it calms us down. So it's almost like if you already experienced like a level 10 stress, level 10 freak out, and then you conquered it, then the rest of the day, when you do have those fires, it's like lower than the level 10 ice bath experience and the cold plunge experience. It's all hovering between 6 and 7 and 9, and none of those seems to be so stressful anymore since you already conquered the level 10 one in the morning every morning. And he's just like, no, this is how we let our mind call the shots, like take control of our heart, which is the emotions. So anyway, I wanted to just share that with you. I think that is like, for me, it's like a big light bulb moment. It's like a big aha moment. I think that is single-handedly the single most important benefit from my perspective for the ice plunge or the cold plunge self-care routine in the morning that entrepreneurs should do. And I will start doing that from now on. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts, if you could. Okay, are you currently doing ice bath or ice plunge or cold plunge in your daily routine? Are you thinking about doing? Do you agree with my perspective in terms of why it's like extraordinarily important as part of the entrepreneur's tool belt? Or if you have any thoughts about the ice plunge or the ice bath, please let me know, okay, in the comments below. And if you like this content, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. I will be making more contents like this for you. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.